problem is not the problem. A problem is never a problem. It's our attitude to the problem, and in particular, where we don't know that there is a problem. So your biggest problems are not your problems. Your biggest problems are your attitude to your problems, or your lack of comprehension about what the problem actually is. That's the problem. Once you cast light on the problem, you're owning it. Now you're transcending any residual narcissism in your system, and you're going, Houston, I got a problem. So the minute you say things like, I've got a problem, you're transcending a lot of crap. You're owning it, which shows responsibility. It's actually a fast track to growth. Just saying, I've got an issue here, I need to sort it. And when you own it, you can transform it, because the universal principle is you can only transform that which you own. So if you deny an issue, it will never be owned, and therefore it will never be transformed. So the difference between those of us on one side and those of them on that side, we are not in denial. Well, some of us maybe still are, but on the whole we're not. We can see our problems, and we're owning them and therefore transforming them. Not all of us, that's why there's a lot of ructions within the freedom movement. We're providing solutions to the problems that we are seeing. Whereas back on the other side, they're not even seeing a problem. Or, if they're seeing a problem, they're denying it's their problem, they're saying it's the system, let's fix the system. So anyone in the so-called freedom movement who tells you that they plan to fix the system, run a mile. The system is not to be fixed, it is to be discarded. End of. Once you realize that you are the true value in your life, guess what you don't need? This will come as a bit of a shock to one or two of you. You don't need a job. You don't need a mortgage. You don't need money. I'm not saying that you might not still want these things, but you definitely don't need them. You don't need a romance. You don't need a marriage. You don't need medication. And above all, you don't need permission. These things are not needed. You may still want them, but they're not needed. They are system phenomena. The best remedy for the narcissistic out there, in other words, their assault on you, is disengage. Don't shout, don't scream, don't protest, don't argue, don't challenge, just turn back, walk away. Remain silent. Don't give them any attention or encouragement, basically. They want to feed off you. But if you turn your back and walk away, they're not feeding. They'll go elsewhere. The best remedy for the narcissistic in here, so that's the narcissistic in me, is get back on your path. Get back into your body. Because if you're back on your path, you're on your purpose. And in another talk I mentioned the Ikigai, which is your life purpose. It's the passion you were born with. Get back into your passion. Get back onto your path. And do things with meraki, with passion and joy and love and satisfaction, fulfillment. And get into your body. And those two are inextricably linked, because if you're getting back onto your path, then you're bound to be back in your body. So it's kind of, one follows from the other, really. Learn to love. Once you've got back into your body or onto your path, learn to love, or at least value yourself. And don't fall for the narcissistic or narcissinical trick that your evidence of feeling valued by yourself, self-value, is narcissism. You're a narcissist, you are. They're just gaslighting you, they're just projecting. Your self-love is different to their fake self-love. Your self-love is real. Their self-love is fake. They actually hate themselves. That's why they vampirize you. They're looking for the love that they don't have. So they project out. You're just a parasite. Well, when anyone says that to you, you can guarantee they've just owned up to being a narcissist. And if that fails, then get back into your heart and forgive yourself. If you're not having a tremendous success of this quest upwards, then breathe. Just take a break and just forgive, forget, let go. Take time out, have a rest, and then have another go. The healing mantra that I would recommend above all, certainly at this difficult time, is I am good enough. And I believe that that will heal an awful lot of trauma and drama and people pleasing. I am good enough. And you'll start to realize that you don't need to spend so much energy people pleasing when you can convince yourself that you are good enough. And guess what? It's easy because you are. Your self-love, or your knowing that you are good enough, to a narcissistic out there is like garlic to a vampire. Self-love will also turn fearful compliance into confident dissidence. Because remember, you cannot comply your way out of tyranny. This is a quote from Robert Kennedy Jr. No complying away from tyranny. More compliance, more tyranny. More compliance at school, more school. Believe in yourself. When that pussycat looks at its reflection, it needs to see a tiger. Self-love will also turn anxious passivity into courageous action. There's 6 types of courage. There's physical, which we all know about. There's social, to be yourself, so the courage to be yourself. There's moral, to do the right thing even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. Emotional, to be the expression, to express your feelings fully. Very important. Don't be afraid of anger, for example. It's anger that moves mountains. So somewhere along the line, somebody told us that anger is a bad thing. Anger is not a bad thing. Rage is a bad thing, because that's festering anger. But if you feel the anger and let it out responsibly in the moment, that's absolutely healthy, and it will move, it will shift. Because it also means that you've transcended despair, because people who are in despair never get angry, because they don't feel they've got the energy. Or they may have such a low self-esteem that they don't feel it's their place to be angry. Well, make it your place. If someone asks you to put a mask on, get angry. I'm not saying get abusive, don't get me wrong. Anger is not abusive. Again, people have been to school and told that anger is abusive. It's not abusive. You're making your point in a very marked, assertive way. If you can do that without anger, bless you, well done. But get angry enough to make sure you make your point. Intellectual courage, learn, unlearn, the humility to unlearn. It's all very well knowing what you know, but if it's a pack of lies, and the odds are that it will be a pack of lies, then it's up to us to unlearn it. Spiritual courage, I should say, living with purpose and meaning. That's all I'm going to say, because the rest sounds a bit pretentious. Purpose and meaning, that's your spiritual courage. So we're back into the Meraki and Ishigai, and the kind of purpose and meaning that was not available in the classroom, because they have a different agenda. Become ungovernable. And there's another dog. No dogs beyond this point. Be creative. This man got a screwdriver and a safety hat and high-vis vest, invested less than £30, pretended to be a CCTV repairman, and there goes a camera. You've got the Blade Runners doing more destructive work around and about. We need that energy, folks. We need the energy of the physical manifestation of non-compliance. That's what we need. We don't need people going, tut, 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 oh, this is terrible. We don't need that. That's narcissism. Tut, 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 this is terrible. That's victimhood. I've now joined the Kent Resistance. We're out there on the streets, yellow boarding and handing out the light paper. We have to get active. This is the time to be active. And if you say, I'm too busy to be active, I say, welcome to the matrix enslavement. Them, what do you do for a living? Me, God's work. Them, oh, you're a minister. Not exactly. The agenda, you will destroy 15-minute cities and be happy. If they offer you a planter, then be gracious and take the soil and use it for growing. And take the wood and use it in your wood stove that they're going to make illegal in a couple of years, allegedly. I don't think they will. They're just gaslighting us. So get creative.